Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue en Pendu dans la Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that this is my series in which I use either Tarot de Marseille or antique Italian decks to answer a question which I've pulled from my large weekly reading with Rider-Waite Smith or other tarot cards, other tarot systems. So I used the Tarot de Marseille or an antique Italian deck to answer a question that I have drawn from that large weekly spread. And I answer it with a short 3-card spread. And the weekly reading for this week was powerful. One of the most powerful, I think, that we've received. And if you haven't seen that reading yet, I would suggest going to watch that first if you have the time. Find the time if you don't have it right now. But I suggest doing that. And I'll put a card up here above my head so you can click on the link and go over there, because it's really powerful. And the title I gave for this week's larger reading was King of the Hill in Balance. Not King of the Hill, King of the World in Balance. And that was the central card for that whole spread. And it was an important card. It is an important card. And one that needs, I believe, more exploration. Because that was a card from the Tarot of the Holy Light, which is not a Golden Dawn based deck. It's not based on the Smith-Waite deck or the Harris-Crowley deck or any of the iterations around that. This is based on the Continental Tarot, which is more akin to Tarot de Marseille, but this is the esoteric. This deck was created from the esoteric research done by the creator, Christine Bain-Towler. So the King of Discs in that deck, the Tarot of the Holy Light, is one who is able to traverse the 3 spheres, the 3 worlds of Earth, Underworld, and the heavens. Earth, Underworld, and the heavens. And so I wanted to know, how do we do that? So that's the question I made for this week. The question I created for this week was, it's a long one. How do we traverse the 3 worlds of Earth, Underworld, and the heavens, as indicated by the King of Discs in the Tarot of the Holy Light? That's a mouthful, right? Let me read it for you again. How do we traverse the 3 worlds of Earth, Underworld, and heavens, as indicated by the King of Discs in the Tarot of the Holy Light? So friends, I pulled 3 cards from my wonderful, beautiful Noblet Tarot, which was created by Artisan Tarot. And let me show you both the question in written form and those cards right now. Take a look. Beautiful redrawing of this deck, isn't it? The Jean Noblet, one of the earliest decks. Some of people, if you know Tarot de Marseille, most people separate them into type 1 and type 2. Type 2 would be a Conver deck. Type 1 would be perhaps a Dodal. And some people think of the Noblet as perhaps a type 0, being perhaps a precursor to other Tarot de Marseille. Difficult to tell. I like classifying it as a type 0, but that's my own tastes. So, the Noblet. It's a small deck. And mine came from Artisan Tarot. And if you're interested in getting this deck from Artisan Tarot, there will be a link in the description box below. You can go over and look at their store. They have beautiful recreations, redrawings of very old Tarot de Marseille decks. Conver, Noblet, Dodal are there. They're working on a VAV, which I'm really excited about. So, this is the Noblet. And my Noblet came in this beautiful velvet green pouch. I love it. I think these pouches might still be available. Take a look on their website. The 3 cards we got were, from left to right, the Ace of Swords, which is interesting, the Empress, and the Temperance card. Why is Ace of Swords interesting? Because my larger spread for the week, starting last week and then continuing on into this week, that spread was inspired by the Ace of Swords card from the Tarot of the Holy Light. So that is my Ace of Swords spread. So having the Ace of Swords appear into the answer for this question was cute, funny, entertaining, wonderful, amazing, all of those things. As people say, all of the feels, all of the good feels, yeah? I love this Ace of Swords card. It's a beautiful card. The whole deck is beautiful. So, they came out Ace of Swords, Empress, Empress, and Temperance. But I think I want to read the deck, read the cards from right to left instead of left to right. The reason is, there are 2 reasons. One reason is, if we look at line of gaze, the Empress is facing forward, no indication. The Ace of Swords, there's no face. The only one with a face looking either left or right is the Temperance card on the right looking left. So, we're going to start with the Temperance card. Now, there's another reason that I'm starting with the Temperance card, and that is because in the larger spread, one of the first cards for one section of the spread was the Temperance card. So it has already been an emphasized card for this week's spread. So I think that's a great reason to start with it for this one. Also, it's because the Temperance card is pouring between 2 things. So the 2 things I think that the Temperance card is pouring between are what she's looking at. Does that make sense? So that's the third. There's a third reason for reading from right to left in this spread for me. And we'll start with Temperance. Temperance. Patience, serenity, harmony. So, how do we traverse the 3 worlds of earth, underworld, and heavens? Like the King of Discs. Well, first we need to have the right attitude. Now, we want to have a peaceful, serene, harmonious, dynamically balanced attitude. Emotional stance might even be better than attitude. Emotional stance. We don't go flying off into the heavens on either a fit of rage, confusion, or distracted excitement either. Yeah? We want to be patient. We want to be serene. Pure love, the highest love, is not unstable. It's serene. Pure joy is not unstable. It's serene. It's pure. It's open. The most open we can feel. It's a serene feel. Expansive, yes. Height of energetic stance, yes. But it's serene. It's not wobbly. So to be able to properly traverse all 3 worlds, we want to be in this emotionally stable and open stance of harmony, serenity, dynamic balance. Have you ever seen a juggler? Have you ever seen a juggler who has an excellent juggler, the most excellent juggler who has stood rigid and is able to do their juggling thing? Have you noticed that even the most proficient jugglers are The balance is dynamic. It's not fixed, it's dynamic. Now, when we think of the balance for the Justice card, there's a certain fixity there. Now, there's a fixity, there's a fixed point, and there's a balance. For the Temperance card and the energetic state we want to be in is dynamic balance, which can also be peaceful and serene. It's not going all over the place. It's this dynamic balance of yes and yes and yes and yes and yes. It's not immobile. Because we can't be immobile and fixed and be able to traverse realms, right? We need to be able to move a little bit, to flow a little bit, flow like the water between those jugs. And the Temperance card is the slow process of distillation. Now, we're not going to burst up into the heavens or burst down into the underworld. We want to distill our essence in its purity to be able to move serenely, peacefully, dynamically. We want an even temper. We want to do the spiritual healing that is required to be able to traverse the realms. Integration of aspects of self, conscious, unconscious, love, passion, thought, work, all of those aspects of ourselves we want to integrate, to do the alchemy of bringing together to create that distilled fullness of self. And when you look at this card, the way that this water flows from one vessel to the other, how realistically possible does that look? Have you ever been able to put two jugs in those positions and had liquid flow cleanly from one into the other, or would the liquid just go pouring onto the floor in front of us? So this is the ability also to do the seeming impossible, which is what being able to traverse the three worlds is. It seems impossible, but with the Temperance card, we can do that. And to be able to do that, the essential message for this week is, how do we do that? Patience. Develop serenity, develop dynamic balance, heal what wants to be healed, integrate what has not been integrated. Seems like a big task, but we've got the time. If we give it the intention, we've got plenty of time. And we're still moving with the current of intention as we do the healing. Our ability to move with intention doesn't require us to be 100% open and at the peak of our potential energetic state. Even when we're entirely closed off, we're moving with our intention. It's just pretty slow. And we do a little bit of healing, we open up a little bit. We do a little bit more healing, we open up a little bit more. And we're able to move a little bit more. And then we open a little bit more and we're able to move even more quickly. It doesn't wait for us to get 100% finished. There is no finish. There is no doneness in this universe. It's all evolution. But doing that work, doing the process of evolution is part of that Temperance card, and doing that is becoming the King of Discs and being able to traverse the realms. Does that make sense? Now, really, we could have stopped with that Temperance card, I think, but we've got two more cards. Now, we got the L'Imperatrice. Please don't hate me because I'm beautiful. I'm sorry, my French pronunciation is not great at best, and today is even worse. The Empress, and then the Ace of Swords. So move to those, because I think those are the two that we want to combine in a way. Not the only two, but they are indicated here. So on one side, we have the Empress, which also appeared actually in this week's larger spread. Yeah? The Temperance card appeared at the bottom as the first card of the conscious side, and the Empress appeared in the unconscious side in the center, which is also interesting. Of the Ace of Swords spread, also interesting. Fertility, right? Fertility, creativity, abundance. Warm-hearted, mothering, nurturing energy. The energy of protecting and being careful, being filled with care for those around us. That kind of energy is is one kind of energy. And we'll talk about the energy that we want to combine with it, but we're there with that fertile, creative, protective, caring, mothering energy, which is not only done by people in cis female bodies. It can be done by people in trans female bodies. It can be done by people in trans male bodies or cis male bodies or non-gendered bodies. Anybody can be a mother in the sense of the Empress. It doesn't just mean shooting babies out of the body to be the Empress. There are many ways of being mother and being protective and caring as a mother energy, as a mother symbol, as an expression of the mother symbol. The Empress is also the one of the artist and beauty. That unconscious, irrational creativity. Not so much the creativity of the mind, but creativity of our inner beings, our libido, our inner workings, that creativity that springs from within. Also, the vital impulse of growth and evolution is here with the Empress, which we have, that energetic drive and pull and desire to evolve is empressitic. Is that a word? Just made it up. Emotional intelligence is also part of the Empress, right? So we've got this emotional intelligence, artistic, beautiful, artistic ability to create and enjoy beauty, creativity coming from within, our fertility, our motherly talents. And with that, we want to mix our Ace of Swords, which is mental. Mental, man. It's mental. It's breaking through with new clarity, with new ideas, with inspiration, mental inspiration. It's that great intellectual potential that we all carry within us, whether we express it or not. Our mental capacity to understand and to see and to express. It's our intelligence, our indomitable intelligence, our determination as well to discern what is around us. Our discernment of these are things I like, these are things I don't like. This is something I want to do, this is something I don't want to do. This has value to me, this does not have value for me. Which in a Jungian sense might be a little bit more of a feeling, emotional side, but still the Ace of Swords here is that ability to make discrimination. Not discrimination between people so much as like you're white, you're black, but discrimination of wanted and unwanted. And we all get to decide that for ourselves without projecting that on other people. Just because you don't want it doesn't mean somebody else shouldn't or can't want it, and we should not interfere with what they want, as long as what they want isn't damaging to anybody else. If they want to go out and stab people, that's different, right? But if they want to love somebody that we don't want to love, we want to appreciate and love them in their expression of who they are and what they desire, their discrimination. Does that make sense? So in one pot we've got Empress, in the other pot we've got the Ace of Wands, and we want to bring them together. Our clarity and creativity and fertility, our ideas and our desire for evolution, our drive for evolution, our discernment and our creativity. Now, our breaking things apart and bringing things together. We can combine those in the Temperance card. And it's in our ability to do that that gives us the flexibility, the possibility of traversing those three realms of the earth, which almost all of us are still on. At least if you're watching this, I assume you're still here on this earth. And the heavens and the underworld. And when we say underworld here, we're not talking fire and brimstone of the Christian hell. We're talking about the underworld of Hades and Persephone and the pomegranates, which apparently live down there. That underworld of the subterranean creativity. The place where seeds are germinated before they spring to life on the earth. That receptacle for turning mulch into creative potential, which happens in the underworld. So we can traverse all of the realms if we have the balance of the Empress. And things that we can balance are that Ace of Swords and the Empress. Does that make sense? Can you see how rife with potential we can be if we do that? If we can do that. I love these cards. I love the way that they revealed themselves to us, particularly now in answer to this question. Can you imagine what that would feel like to have that balance? Balance, integrated balance. Yeah, dynamic balance. Sometimes we're a little bit more creative, more motherly, and sometimes we're a little bit more discriminatory, and a little bit more clear, and a little bit more breakthrough. And we integrate and dynamically balance. So friends, that's the reading for this week. Does that make sense? I'd love to hear from you. If you're still here, hit the thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you got something out of this and other people would as well. Brings more eyes to the channel. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. I usually do about 2 a week. I might sometimes do 3 if I've got the time. Next couple months I probably won't, but I might. Depends on how things go. And also, share this on other platforms. If you think other people might get inspiration or ideas or benefit from watching this, you can share this around. That would be wonderful. And friends, also, comment below. I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Would you read these 3 cards differently? I'd love to hear that too. Do you have the Noblet? Do you love using it? Are you going to get the Noblet? Comment it below. I'd love to hear from you. And friends, if you want a private reading from me, you can get one. You really, really can. I can use either Tarot de Marseille. I can use an Italian deck. I can use a Smith-Waite deck or a Thoth deck, whatever you want. My email address is below. Shoot me an email and we can get you a reading. Long, short, your choice. Any topic you want to discuss. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.